Alright guys, today we're continuing my series of going back to my old leveling guides and updating them with some better information. We're going to cover the Paladin this episode, and this is what we're going to talk about. First of all, the FAQ, what kind of weapons do you use, things like that, your optimal talent build options, the rotation, what gear and stats to prioritize, weapon progression, and also some money saving tips to save up for your mount that you don't need to save up for actually, because yeah, I just realised that. Anyway, but guys, it is still important to obviously save up for your epic mount at level 60. So what weapons and what seals should you use? Well, first of all, you want a two-hander, and you want the slowest two-hander as possible, and this is because it has great synergy with Seal of Command. Seal of Command obviously scales off weapon damage, so a slow weapon is going to make Seal of Command deal more damage. When it comes to the Judgment, obviously we want to debuff with Seal of the Crusader and then just go into Seal of Command. Before that, you're obviously just going to use Seal of Righteousness before you get Seal of Command. But we will also be using Seal of Wisdom in a different scenario, which we will talk about later. But also, do bear in mind that it is good to use Seal of Wisdom from time to time if you're just trying to save up on mana. Guys, if you feel like you're falling behind in Fresh Classic, by far the biggest experience per hour is obtained in Vanilla WoW by simply doing the perfect questing route, which is luckily provided by the world record holding speed levelers who created Rested XP. If you don't believe me, you can get the add-on for free right now up until level 30, and if you want to get the full guide, use my discount code MetaGoblinFresh and click my link in the description for a little cheeky 15% off. Now, what aura should you have? When you can get it available, Sanctity Aura is best. If not, it's going to be Ret Aura, obviously. And ideally, most of the time, to be honest, you are going to buff yourself with Seal of Wisdom because it is just great for sustainability and reducing that downtime. But if you feel like you're not really having that many mana issues, then you may as well buff Blessing of Wisdom. Now, when it comes to talents, back in the day when I was looking at the comment section, a lot of people did argue about Tier 1 in a Retribution tree, whether you should fully deck out Blessing of Might, or getting Benediction to obviously reduce the mana cost of seals. Really guys, it's up to you. People argue that Benediction just isn't that beneficial, so you may as well go Blessing of Might, but then people who argue against that will say, well, you're not going to be using Blessing of Might that often anyway, and the damage increase is pretty minor. And yeah, most of the time you're going to be Blessing of Wisdom anyway. So I'll leave it to you guys. Everything else is pretty solid though. You can't really improve the build that much. Obviously you want Seal of Command, you want to max out Vengeance and stuff like that. And then you start speccing into the Holy Tree to get Divine Strength, because that is very beneficial. Now the other build that is worth mentioning is the Reckoning build, where you just totally abandon speccing into Retribution and you go down the Protection tree. Round about level 32. Because that's when you're going to see it proc more. But really, Reckoning only starts to become very advantageous when you are cleaving enemies, because more enemies are going to be hitting you, which means you have a higher chance of actually getting a critical strike done to you. And this is where actually using a one-hander and shield will become more viable. You will easily be able to take on multiple enemies. I would stick to green mobs, by the way, if you're doing proper AoE farming or if you're questing, and this is kind of the build that you're going to go for, so you definitely want Concentration and 1 point in Reckoning and Blessing of Sanctuary before you try this, and then obviously you're going to, as you get higher level, put more points in Reckoning. I found some footage of it right here, obviously in action. So as you can see, this Paladin here is able to take on, I've lost count how many Murlocs that is now, but it's quite a lot. And the main way that he's getting the Murlocs down is with Concentration, which is why he's also using Seal of Wisdom, because you really do need it for the mana, and because Reckoning is obviously proccing, that's going to regenerate more mana back with your Seal of Wisdom, so that works out very nicely. And you basically just keep spamming Concentration until the mobs go down. My recommendation is to always have a good two-hander weapon, then also a good one-hander and a shield, whether you're going to do these AoE pulls or you're going to do single target pulls. It's always better to obviously switch back to a two-hander when you are just taking one mob at a time. And this is kind of the thing that you would do in a single target situation. You always check your buffs, get weak auras to remind you of all your buffs. And as you guys probably know, the Paladin rotation is pretty simple. You do just keep your Seal up and your Judgment debuff up and, well, sit there and wait for your auto attacks to deal the damage. And if you need your health topping up, be sure to top up your health straight away, because obviously you want to trigger that 5-second mana regen window earlier. The longer you wait to like cast a little cheeky holy light, the less mana efficient you are being, so be sure to cast that straight after the mob is dead. When it comes to gearing, you know, stats like agility and strength are very, very good. Agility is very good because obviously you get those vengeance stacks. If you go in deep ret, it's easier to keep those vengeance stacks up, which obviously is a big DPS increase. But ideally, like, just stick to mail or eventually plate gear and get agility, intellect, and strength pieces mainly. And if you are going down the AoE farming route, I would prioritize, honestly, probably intellect over anything, because you aren't going to see a massive DPS spike by stacking strength, to be honest, because you just can't stack a lot low level. But stacking intellect and stamina low level does make a very good difference to your character's power. Now guys, if you want a meticulous weapon progression guide, it includes two-hander weapons, one-hander weapons, and actually shields, so it's just perfect for the Paladin. All you got to do is subscribe to the channel, go to my subscriber-only video, and check out the description, and you'll see the subscriber-only guides there. Now, when it comes to saving money, it is still important for a Paladin to do, because obviously it is nice to get gear upgrades low level, but you are mainly saving up for the long-term goal that is obviously getting your epic charger at level 60. Honestly, what I'd recommend doing is just checking my level up smarter not faster in Fresh Classic video, guys, because this at the minute is, in my humble opinion, it does provide, out of all my videos, it provides the best tips on how to save money for your mounts. But the TLDR of this is always be sure to check out auction house prices of items that are above white quality, and use your professions to do cheeky gold flips to make even more money while you are leveling up. But anyway guys, that's where I'm going to end the video there. My name is Metagoblin. Until the next video, ciao.